Okay. Dice la Nayaret, no pude ver el video, se me fue el internet. Oh, but we can watch it again. We can watch it again, no problem. Right? Not right now, but we can watch it again. But first, I want you to answer my question, right? And the question again, se las voy a compartir pantalla, ¿cierto? Y se las voy a repetir la pregunta. What is the impact, in this case, what is the impact of mass media on popular opinion? Right? Vamos a sacar el de aquí porque es un concepto más general. Of mass media on popular opinion. Y es incontable. I mean, you can answer with your own knowledge. All right, what you think, what's your opinion about this? Just go ahead, and then before we finish, we can watch the video again, and maybe we can expand the insights about mass media. Is mass media able to, in this case, control the population? Control the minds of the population? Is mass media able to inform the communities or just entertain the communities, right? Does it have a an important impact on different generations, and are there programs for kids, programs for older people, for young people? What do you think about that? Chat. Maxi reinforces common beliefs by granting positive or negative feedback. Very interesting, Maxi. Yep. I think talking about stereotypes and people who create, for example, content, I think that many creators, let's call them editors, directors, screenwriters, etc. Normally they want to make money, and to make money today, you need to write or create a program or content which is focused on certain generations or certain targets. Otherwise, you cannot have a budget, and you're not going to make money, right? So, the business and the industry and works in that way. You need to create something which may have impact on certain generations or targets or niches, como nichos, ¿cierto? And then you can make money out of that, because people or those communities are going to consume the content, right? That's a basic principle of the mass media industry today. So reinforces common beliefs, I agree, right? There are many programs which have a clear target, right? White people, Black people, Latino, but this happens in America, of course, in the United States. Or, for example, gay people, LGBTQ plus communities, and so on. But I think it's okay to have content for communities, like very specific. But I also think that we should have content for pretty much everybody, like inclusive, like every different human being represented in series, movies, and stuff like that. I think we got series like that, in which white people, Black people, Latino, gay, lesbian, or disabled people, for example, or different types of human beings are represented in the same scenario. I think we got series like that, okay, and we should have more, of course, more. Yeah, living like a big family, like not segregated on communities, but everybody together. At least that's the dream. That's the idea. What else? Any other opinion about the impact of mass media Do you think that, for example, TV channels are controlling the minds of people or shaping the popular opinion? Do you think that we can trust the media in general? Or if we don't trust the media, what can we do to, in this case, find different sources, use triangulation, comparing, for example, the mass media or the TV news reports versus other sources which can be more reliable? What can we do in that case? Where can we find the truth? Any ideas? You can use the microphone or the chat box. Or everything is okay. The mass media always tells the truth. Nothing to worry about. Are you guys sleeping? Camila, I mean, sometimes we can use the internet, but even the internet lies. All right. Yes, in general, I think we can find the info on the internet. Yes, which can be reliable, but maybe not. How can we tell then what source is reliable and which one is not? For example, a lot of people just go on Wikipedia and then, okay, Wikipedia says this and this is true. What can we do? What else can we do to become more, in this case, proficient researchers? Is Wikipedia enough, or do you know any other source which can be more reliable? Maybe independent journalism, maybe some account on Instagram, or some account or some other, in this case, company, which or TV channel, which is like more, in this case, reliable. A web page maybe which is more reliable. Or maybe if we go to the repositories of Universidad de Chile, Universidad Católica, Pedagógico, we find, for example, more like more papers, for example, papers about research, which is more serious, because journalism and research are very connected, Nayarit, history pages, Memoria Chilena, something like that, maybe, of course, yes. Yep. Very good. Like Memoria Chilena, are sources. We call them sources, There are reliable sources, and they can be graded in different at different levels, For example, El Mercurio, a lot of people read El Mercurio. They trust on the sources and the interpretation of the evidence, the interpretation that El Mercurio gives to some events. Other people do not trust on Mercurio because they know they are biased and they have an ideology behind, right? So, but then you can say, okay, we can read The Clinic, we can read Le Monde Diplomatique, we can read like more papers, or also digital newspapers, or different accounts on Instagram or Twitter, which maybe are more ideologically, in this case, compatible with my train of thought. and then we can compare. We can compare, you know, different sources. I'm not only talking about left versus right ideologies. I'm talking about really finding out the truth, right? And if when we got the facts, we can understand and interpret them in any way, you know. But we need the facts, you know. So sometimes the problem is that the media do not give you the facts. They actually hide the facts, right? So that's why it is important to know where to go to find the truth and which kind of source we should be, in this case, um, a reading or extracting information. Now, I'm going to give you an example of the American spectrum in this case regarding how they are distributed in terms of the bias. I should tell you this: everybody is biased some way or another, right? Todos tienen un sesgo, everybody, right? If people want to be anarchists, there are many types of anarchists, right? Anarchists to the left, anarchists to the right, and so on, right? Pure anarchism, yeah, but that's pretty much like a utopia, right? So today in America, for example, you can see here there are two, in this case, there are coordinates, of course, in this case, and you got axes here like vertical and horizontal. Vertical, it says fact reporting. Analysis, here is variation in reliability. Opinion, in this case, propaganda, here misleading information, and here inaccurate, fabricated, you know, info. So most media goes around here, you know, which are more well known in this case. CNN TV, MSNBC, or here we got, for example, Fox News, which is like very right wing. In this case, Wall Street Journal, Fox Business, BBC right here in the middle, right here, Reuters, ABC, NBC, The Economist, The Guardian, New York Times, etc., etc., etc. Right? So it's really interesting to analyze this chart, because I'm not telling you what to watch. I'm not telling you what to read. What I'm telling you is look at this, and then you decide what to read, what not to read. Actually, you can read whatever you want, and then you can compare, right? So maybe the same fact, the same event can be analyzed from this perspective, you know, watching Fox News, and they're going to tell you about that event, and then you watch CNN or the socialist alternative, and they're going to give you a different perspective from the same event, right? So it's the perspective, you know, where you are in this, from where you are in this case, analyzing and observing the event, right? And that's the problem, that we can have the same fact, but how we interpret what we're watching, how we interpret what we're listening is the key, and that's ideological and is biased. We cannot escape from that, okay? Because one day, sooner or later, we have to make decisions, right? I made my decision a long time ago, but that's my perspective. It's my choice how to see the life, you know, how to analyze what I see. You know, it was a personal choice. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what to do in that case, right? You have to decide. But the point is that there are many different perspectives from to see the same event, right? And here you can see, for example, some kind of analysis. Most extreme left here, hyper partisan left, skews left, middle. That's pretty much the center, some people say. You know, like not too on the left, not too much on the left, but not too much on the right. He skews right in this case, hyper partisan right, and then most extreme right. You know, and you can see a lot of different platforms here, a lot of bots and stuff like that here on the right, extreme right. Okay, more than on the left, right? It's interesting what's happening in the United States, right? Uh, I don't know how similar this is with Chile, but we can see a lot of money on here. You know, a lot of efforts on the right wing in this case. But anyway, uh, so what about Chile? Do you have any opinions about the mass media in Chile? Is it good quality? Is it bad quality? Is there any difference between watching La Red and watching Canal 13? What do you think, guys? Are we doing a good job? Are we not doing a good job in our country regarding informing the population about things happening in Araucanía, about Pandora Papers, you know, what's happening in our country? Do you have any opinion about that? Or pasapalabra? I'm waiting for your opinions, guys. Nayaris. I think the situation can change from channel to channel, even the ideological position of journalists. I absolutely agree with you, Nayaris, right? It happens, you know, it's different from watching La Red, for example, because I watch La Red and also I read, you know, the digital also platform from La Red in my personal case. Personal opinion, I think the La Red is one of the most democratic channels in our country, period. That's my personal opinion anyway. Versus other channels which are owned by big, in this case, corporations, and they pretty much they control what the people watch and what the people should know. Okay, Francisca, además algunos títulos de noticias tienen un poco de machismo. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, our country is so chauvinist, classist, machist. We don't respect the diversity, in this case LGBT groups, for example. It's full of stereotypes. If you watch the soap operas, it's full of stereotypes. If you watch the morning programs, etc., etc., you know, every time you're gonna see some sort of like, I mean, the host is it's a white male, in this case, um, stereotype all the time. You know, ladies are pretty much like perfect, you know, in terms of pretty much the aesthetics, you know, the looks. Um, so I absolutely agree with you, Francisca. We lack of diversity in on TV channels, for example. And I think that's why a lot of young people, the new generations, are consuming more from TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, etc., 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 Disney Plus, Netflix, because the grill, la parrilla, you know, the grill of content is so much diverse that, you know, I don't even watch TV, guys. I don't watch TV. I read The Guardian and I read newspapers on Instagram, right? You know, link in the bio and stuff like that. But I prefer to read accounts which are, in this case, that can give you a more realistic perspective. They show to population what they want us to watch. Absolutely, Benjamin. That's the point. Exactly. So if you're, I mean, it's very important to understand that if you own, if you possess, if you're the owner of a TV channel or a newspaper or a radio or any other means of communication, you got a lot of power and a lot of money, and you're going to control what the people think. So there are a lot of things happening today in our country and the rest of the world that the mass media, I mean, the regular TV channels and stuff like that, they're not going to show you what's going on. They're not going to show you. They won't, because the owners are friends with the politician, friends to the president. You know, big corporations controlling pretty much everything. They want to llevar la fiesta en paz. Well, is what they say. You know, they don't want you to know the truth. So be careful with that. I mean, there are sources which can be more reliable. I won't tell you that, for example, watching Nano TV is going to be like the solution. But I watch what Nano TV, but to have fun. Habla pura estupideces en el Mega se dedican a puro jugar en el matinal. That's true. It's true. It's a bullshit all the time. It's bullshit, right? So I'm not telling you that it's wrong. I mean, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't watch the morning programs, right? If you want to watch them, that's okay, because maybe you want to have fun a little bit. But if we really want to know the truth and we really want to keep informed, like in this case, we should, in this case, watch and read other types of in this case, sources, right? Sources. So very important, guys. Triangulate every piece of news that you read or watch. Triangulate. You know, compare. You know, from different sources, from a digital media or accounts versus, you know, the big corporations, newspapers and TV, and then you can obtain information like origin of the source, right? For example, if you really want to know what's going on Araucanía, you should watch accounts or read accounts which are from CAM, for example, or not from Carabineros de Chile, for example. Not only from them, but also from sources which can be more directly connected to the territory, right? Web pages or Twitter, etc., from people who are really living there. They can tell you maybe firsthand what's going on there, right? For example, and stuff like that. Okay, and I know that there's a lot of fake news on Twitter, on Instagram, and stuff like that. But what we need to do is to, again, triangulate, compare, right? We need to keep informed. All right, that's the important thing. And then you have to decide. You have to say what to believe and what not to believe, okay? It's up to you guys. What time is it? What's the time? Yeah, 11:17, ya nos pasamos ya. Eso, thank you for your opinions. Thank you for sharing some insights on the chat box. And well, en Spanish, los que puedan ir la próxima semana, por favor, el miércoles para la presentación, digamos, para la bienvenida que le llama, aunque ya hace rato que ya ustedes son parte del PEDA, pero sí, o sea, si pueden ir la próxima semana, se los recomiendo, vayan para que conozcan el campus, los que no han ido, inscríbanse en el link que les mandé en el grupo de WhatsApp y que les llegó también por correo institucional, para que puedan inscribirse y puedan haber una trazabilidad de las personas que entran y salen del PEDA. Eso, yo mañana voy a ir al PEDA, ¿cierto? Voy a estar un rato. No voy a hacer clases, pero sí, obviamente, si alguien se quiere pegar a dar una vuelta, no hay problema, me hablan por WhatsApp, voy a estar ahí en la oficina. Pero el próximo miércoles sí o sí hay una actividad, digamos, para primeros y segundos años. Ya, así que les invito para que vayan, ¿cierto? Y puedan conocer el campus y puedan conocer a sus compañeros y a los profes frente a frente, ¿vale? Distancia social va a haber, sí, por supuesto, mascarillas, por supuesto, alcohol gel, ¿cierto? Por litros. Así que eso, pero recuerden, en la entrada les van a preguntar, les van a pedir carnet, quiénes son, para dónde van. Entonces, por eso es que tienen que inscribirse en el formulario, porque si no aparecen en la nómina, ¿cierto? Probablemente no los dejen entrar. Entonces, por eso es que es importante que se inscriban, ¿ya? Y que si no encuentran el link en el grupo de WhatsApp, yo se los reenvío para que puedan inscribirse y todo. ¿Vale? Eso, chicos, chicas. Have a nice weekend. See you next week. Y todo eso. Bye, bye. Take care.